Bethany, thank you very much indeed. Now, the V&A Museum, that's Victoria and Albert, have acquired the David Bowie collection and will mount a major exhibition celebrating this modern cultural icon and all of his doings. Now, the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Rolling Stones, did it themselves, as indeed did the utterly brilliant Pink Floyd. And of course, Gracelands is still a must on many tourists' lists of things to do if they are lucky enough to go on holiday to the United States of America, the former home of Elvis Presley. There are many other examples of it. Black Sabbath, I'm told, as well. As far as Bowie's concerned, more than 80,000 items have been donated to the museum, including his Ziggy Stardust costumes, and you will be able to see them in the V&O's new hub in East London from 2025. When I spoke to the team about this item, saying I wanted to do it, there was only one person absolutely at the top of my list who I wanted to talk to about it, and it's fellow Rolling Stones fan, Philip Kiszely, who is a cultural historian and lectures on these matters at the great University of Leeds. Great to see you, and thank you for saying yes. The key thing is the Stones, who are free marketeers and very good businessmen, and I ditto Pink Floyd, although you can have their fallings out over all sorts of things, which may cost them a huge amount of money. I read in the press as well. Academically, is this stuff of such merit intellectually that it's right that a great institution like the V&A should spend millions of pounds on acquiring this collection?
Hi, Alastair. Well, first of all, it's great to see you again and speak to you. Yes, I think it is. I think the answer to that is a simple yes. There's some amazing stuff here. There are 80,000 pieces, and this is essentially going to form the David Bowie Centre for the Study of Performing Arts. Now, I've got real mixed feelings about that. So in terms of the holding, in terms of all of the pieces in the archive, yes, absolutely. You know, handwritten lyrics for heroes, the Ziggy Stardust costumes that you've already mentioned. Lots of materials which are unreleased projects, things that didn't make it to publication. So there's some really interesting questions there about why. You know, what does it say about the artist, but what does it say about the time in which they were developed as well? Why did something in the 80s not make it to publication? So there's lots of great stuff there. The idea of a centre for the study of performing arts, I'm actually not that sure about. Because I've got a quote here. V&A director Tristan Hunt said, "This will be a new source book for Bowies of the future." Now, I don't think real innovators go to museums or top-down establishment education initiatives to develop their rock and roll. I mean, if you think about the tradition that Bowie's from, the rock and roll tradition, you've got the Stones and the Beatles, obviously, but also in terms of the real big hitters, you've got the Sex Pistols and Oasis. You can't imagine Brian Jones or Noel Gallagher going to someone called Tristan Hunt and saying, "Oh, well, what do you think about this? This is is this going to be a real innovation?" It doesn't work like that. You know, real innovators, rock and roll heroes, come out of nowhere. You know, they come from poverty often, but they come from local scenes, sweaty nightclubs. You know, back
and also
bedroom. Oasis just had.
Let me just butt in because it's an important point. I just want to add one thing as well, that if you really are seeking to support the next generation of musicians, not creativity, because I agree with you, it happens. I mean, Can't Get No Satisfaction, I think, came to Keith Richards in a dream and just woke up and then sat down and recorded it. What state of dream he was in is neither my business nor yours, but we can all speculate upon it. But Paul McCartney, who's made a bob or two out of his own brilliant creativity, he's put a lot of money into a music school, performing arts school, so that people can hone their skills and become brilliant multi-instrumentalists like himself. But that's slightly different to a museum trying to do it.
I think it is. What I get from the V&A is two things. The first thing, which I've already said, I love the idea of, which is a great archive full of just amazing cultural history. But the second thing, it's almost as though it's Guardianistas trying to make pop stars in their own image. You know, Bowie was so incredibly groundbreaking and so innovative on the one hand, but as time's progressed, he's come to represent what all of those people think about. Now, they would never, for example, have a Stones exhibition there in the same way, even though the Stones are, arguably much more important. But can you imagine the explanations on some of the lyric sheets there? So I think there's an ideological thing going on there, and I think it also relates a little bit to the broader picture of heritage at this time. What we've got is a very cherry-picked thing, and things like organisations like the National Trust, they handle their British cultural heritage often as though it's poison. They've got protective gloves. So. There's an ideological thing underneath it, I think.
We have to pause it there only because of time. You delivered in spades. I'm grateful. Really lovely talking to you again. And I can't wait to hear what the Glimmer Twins make in their collaboration with Paul McCartney on the new album, which Ronnie told us about here exclusively on GB News. Good to see you. Love to everyone in Leeds and look forward to talking to you again soon. That's Philip Kiszely, cultural historian and lecturer at the Great University of Leeds.